And finally, at the next lecture, there will be our first quiz. So please bring your HB pencil and be sure to pick up your Scantron sheet before lecture begins. There will also be an assignment associated with today's lecture that Ms. Yujo will explain to you momentarily. So, without any further ado, please welcome yourself.
library.yorkview.ca, and where you're going to find the research guide, if you scroll, there is a picture that says research guides, and if you click on it, it takes you to a list of subject guides. I've created a course guide for the class instead, so go to the left corner, top corner, and there's course guides. You'll find CSE1001 listed here. Okay, so there it is. Click on it. And I'll give you the friendly URL so you can copy that down right now and then bookmark it on your computer. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight it and zoom in a bit. So if you want to write that down, it's researchguides.library.yorkview.ca/EECS1001. Okay, I'll just make that slightly bigger for you. So that'll be up there throughout the slides that I'll go through. So I'm not using PowerPoint, I'm using this research guide in the slides. So to start, I wanted to show a video just to get people, see if people understand what the library is about. So this video will help you.
Hello, scholars. Hello, scholars. Look at your grades. Now look at mine. Now back at your grades, now back to mine. Sadly, they're not like mine. But if you stop studying in a cave and started studying like me, they could be like mine. Look at your shirt. Now back to mine. Look down, back up. Where are you? You're in the library with the man your grades could be like. Did you know that 8 out of 5 dentists say that studying in the library is 6 bajillion times more effective than studying in your shower? Now open your eyes. Where are you? You're in a beautifully quiet place where you can study. Look at your hand. Now back to me. I have it. It's a laptop with access to bucket loads of library databases. Look again. The laptop is now a celestial sandwich here in the snack zone. Anything is possible when you're in the library. I'm on a cart. Yeah!
So it's kind of a funny video, but he actually mentions a couple of things in there that are kind of pertinent for your research. Did anybody pick up on any words that he said that maybe relates to libraries that they need to know about? Okay. Well, he mentioned something called library databases, bucket loads of information in library databases. Does anybody know what a library database is, or can you name a couple of them or any of them? Okay, maybe there's another one that you know of, like another database maybe more familiar. One that's associated with Google. Yeah? Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is Google's online database to search for scholarly articles and books. The library also has different library databases that we pay for, and actually it's part of what your tuition goes towards, is paying for these library databases. And what it does is it gives you access to bucket loads of articles that you'll need to access to find for various research topics. So when you go to the library homepage, so let's go back to the library homepage. This search bar right here on the middle of the screen here does not search for articles. It searches for books and journals, but not the articles in the journals. So in order to do that, you'll have to use library databases. So one of them is Google Scholar, but you'll find with Google Scholar you'll end up having to pay for the articles. So don't do that. Don't ever pay for an article, ever. You can get it through the York University libraries and the different databases that we have. So I'm going to show you two databases today. One of them called IEEE, and the second one called Web of Science. Or sorry, Engineering Village. So today, the learning outcomes that I hope to help you with today are to show you how to sign up for a program called Zotero. It's an open source citation management tool that will help you create a bibliography in any style, APA, MLA, within seconds. Right? And it also helps you to organize your research as well. So it'll help you create folders for your different assignments, or folders for your different courses, and then you can add the articles and books and websites that you find into those folders, and that folder will generate into a bibliography within seconds. So instead of sending your paper 2 o'clock in the morning the day before your assignment's due, instead of having to worry about writing hand by hand, manually a citation or your reference list, which can take hours sometimes to get all that syntax right, these tools like Zotero help you and will save you tons of time and will just help you with your research practice as you go throughout your career at university. So the one that I'm showing you today is open source. So what that means is that if you like to hack or if you like to code, you can hack and use it and create your own programs or a cell phone app for it. So you can work with it and use it in many ways. So that's one really great thing about it. Also, it's free. And those are 2 good reasons why I wanted to show you that today. And it's probably one of the easier citation management tools that I've seen out there. I'm also going to talk to you about how to search in the library catalog or database. In Google, you can type in a sentence and you get an answer, which is so great. But in our databases, they work a little differently. You'll have to use something called keyword searching, which I'll talk about later, and that will help you retrieve books and articles. Okay, so that means not typing a sentence and just picking out a few keywords. So first I'll talk to you about your library assignment, so that you know why I'm showing you what I'm going to show you. And then I'll just talk a little bit about scientific information flow. We'll go into a search strategy and example topic that I have, and we'll talk about keyword searching, and then we'll find a book, an article, and a conference paper as well. Any questions before I start? Continue on, rather. Okay. So your library assignment. Okay. So I've given out 2 handouts. One of them is your library assignment, and in that assignment, you are to pick any computer science or engineering related topic and send me 4 references related to that topic. So you're asked to send me a citation in AP or MLA of a book. It could be an ebook instead that you find in our catalog, a journal article, a conference proceeding article, and a website on a topic. But beyond that, I want you to also show me what keywords you use to search for that book, article, conference, proceeding, or website. Okay, how many results you got? And then make sure you add them to Zotero and use Zotero to create your bibliography. Okay? And I want you to send this to me in an email. In your email, your subject line should be CSE1001, your name and student number. And in the body of the email should be your citations with the additional keywords and results numbers there as well. So I have an example assignment of how if I were to do this assignment, how I would email this to myself. Okay? So just list the different resources, and you can take a look at that more in your own time and examples of citations there as well. Those handouts, if you lose them or if you forget, they're also on this webpage. Okay, so you can download it. The second handout, which is a staple handout, it's a worksheet. That's something that you do not have to hand in at all. Okay, that's something for you to help guide you with your assignment. Okay, so you can, it allows you to make sure that you're filling out all the information and putting all the right information into your citation. So this is a worksheet. It just helps you to guide you in your research and what are some of the things you need to look at when you're writing books and articles. Okay, you don't have to hand it in. Your assignment should be in an email format and send it to me. And my email is listed here as well, and on the assignment. sshujah@yorkview.ca. Okay. And so what the rest of the presentation will be how to find the book, the article, and the conference paper. And I feel the website will be okay to do that. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about flow of scientific information. The types of documents that you might be using in your university career in computer science or in electrical engineering. Okay? So on the left-hand side, I have a list of types of documents you may need to find in the future or now. Patents. Okay, so those are government-granted licenses for inventions. So when somebody invents something, they get a patent license for it. Those patents are searchable in various databases that are freely available online, such as Google Patents or FastNet. We won't be doing that today, but just to know that those are some of the types of documents you might need to find. The second one is journals. There's books. Different types of books. There's reference material like encyclopedias or lab manuals, also just general books. There's academic books, and there's also popular books. Also, in your field, conference papers or proceedings are very important. And I'll tell you the difference between a journal article and a conference paper. Okay. A conference paper is a proceeding. It's something that's presented at a conference. So somebody writes a proposal, they go to a researcher presents it at a conference, and they turn that into a paper that gets published within the conference. And the idea is with conference proceedings is that they're disseminated quickly, that information and research is disseminated quickly, so it's quite up to date, and you're going to get some good information there, and often it's peer reviewed as well. So those are going to be really important in your research as well in the next 4 or 5 years. Sometimes you need technical specifications of how a device or component works. You might need standards as well. So those are other types of documents you need to look. And also code. You may need to find code. So code, you may find that through GitHub or other various groups as well. In terms of journals, there's different types of journal articles. One of them is called peer-reviewed journal articles. And you're going to hear that a lot in your different classes and other fields as well. Does anybody know what peer-reviewed is? Peer-reviewed journal articles? Or take a guess, peer-reviewed. Maybe on this side, want to take a guess? Peer-reviewed articles.
We work with others,
Working with others?
Yeah, on the same topic,
On the same
using
topic.
different kinds of resources, and creating a beautiful piece of article.
Very close.
And it's an article reviewed by your other fellows or your past, like your peers.
Yeah.
You write an article and it's checked by, reviewed by your fellows.
And why is that good?
Because you can get the opinion of people who are your same age, and you can get their opinion and see how it works exactly.
Okay, so we're getting quite close, and that's more or less it. So I'll just pull yes. Do you want to say something as well?
Less bias.
Less bias, perhaps. Not always. Okay, so peer-reviewed articles, like the student over there was saying, are articles that are, before they're published in the journal, a group of experts in the field, so other peers or fellows in the field, not necessarily the same age, but in the field, will look at that article and help to edit it, not just necessarily grammar, but also content, and whether the methodology seems right, does the research, is it inclusive, and they review it before it gets published. The idea is it's also usually a blind peer reviewing process, meaning that the people who are reviewing the article don't know who the author is. Okay, so the idea is that there is less bias as a result, but that's not always the case, bias or not bias. So I'll just read you what it says here. Peer-reviewed articles, or sometimes they're also called refereed articles, are articles that have gone through a vigorous process of approval by a panel of experts in that particular field before publication. And the idea is that through this process of selection, that these articles are more credible and are the best in the field. Okay? And there's a link here of how to tell if an article is peer-reviewed. For this assignment, you don't necessarily have to find a peer-reviewed article. You can just find a scholarly journal article, and that's fine. But just for you to know, you'll need to know that for other classes. And a lot of times, databases have a box that say, I only want to search peer-reviewed articles. So I'll show you that, but we won't necessarily have to do that. And then here on the right-hand side of the research guide, you have just a diagram. Let's make that a little bit smaller so you can see the whole idea. That's just the flow of information where, whether it's you or a researcher has an idea, they do some research, they have meetings with people who might be important in the field of experts, and they start going through different processes of publishing. So you might go to a conference first to present your research. That's commonly a first place where people present their idea. They go to a conference. And that's where those conference proceedings are found. That's considered grade literature or primary literature. Okay? So primary means first-hand account of the research. The person who is presenting the research is the one who actually did the experiment or study or lab work. Okay? That may turn into a conference paper or proceeding in journal articles. You may even patent it as well. And then once those ideas are more established in the field, in the research field, it might turn into a book. Or maybe somebody reviews you or reviews those ideas that you talked about. Those are called secondary literature. So second-hand account of the primary literature. And then even more so once that research is established, it becomes a theory, and it gets published into an encyclopedia or textbook or handbook. Those are called tertiary literature. So you may be asked in other classes to find primary sources. Okay, so that means first-hand account. In the sciences, it means something that might look like a lab report. It's a journal article that will have an abstract introduction, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion. Okay. I'm just going to move on from that page to Zotero. So that's the program I want to introduce you to. Any questions right now? Yeah? Oh, how did I get to this page? Sure. If you go to researchguides.library.ca/CS1001, and then I'm on the scientific information tab, but I'm going to be going to the Zotero tab. You find it? And I'll show you again from how I got it from the library homepage, if that's helpful. So if you go to the library homepage again, scroll down to research guides, then go to the top left corner, click on course guides, and then find CSE1001. Okay. Any other questions?
After ECS.
Yeah, and then go to scientific information tab. Yeah? Sure. So in the sciences, there's primary literature and secondary literature. So primary sources they're called first-hand accounts. So the person who wrote the article, it's usually, they're talking about journal articles. And the person who wrote the journal article is the one who actually did the experiment or did the research themselves or did the study themselves. And then they're reporting back on their study or research. So a lot of times, so in the sciences, primary sources almost look like what you would look like in a lab report. It has introduction, a methodology section, a results section, discussion, conclusion. Secondary literature is somebody who might review that experiment you did, and then talk about it, and break it down, and look at other research that other people did in that field, and review those different researchers and write an article about it. A lot of the times, the research that you're doing, when you're looking at when you have a topic and you're looking at other sources and you write a research paper, that might be considered secondary. But if you're actually doing the lab work and you're writing a lab report, that would be primary. Choose anything you want. Could be something that sparks your interest in the news. That's what sparked my interest in my topic that I'll talk to you about. Maybe something that you want to get into in your career. And it could be any computer science or engineering topic. Yes, there was another question in the front. Pardon? Your resources will be coming from the library. You won't be able to Google scholarly articles, and you won't be able to Google scholarly books. But I'm going to show you how to do that. Yes, okay? And we'll go through it. And then if you have questions more about the assignment, you can ask me after, because I want to show you how to find those resources. And that might answer some of your questions about the assignment. Okay, so to cite, I want to show you this tool called Zotero. Okay, so when you're finding books, articles, and websites, Zotero will help capture the information from that page, and it will capture that information that it will use to create a bibliography later on, or an in-text citation. I'll talk about what that is later. So let me go to the quick tip sheet in Zotero. So if you forget anything I show you, some of the lists are here. So the first thing you want to do is register for a Zotero account. So I'm just going to click on the register link. Okay? Sign up for an account. So I'm going to log into my account. We'll just use your username and email. You can use your passport information. It'll be easy to remember. Okay. I may not be able to show you everything, just because I may not be able to download some of the stuff on computers, but I have some videos that I'll show you how that works. Okay, the second thing you want to do on the tip sheet, on the LibGuide, is download Zotero for Firefox and or the standalone version. Okay? So there's a download button right on the home page. So there's two versions, Firefox, and if you don't use Firefox, use Safari or Chrome, then download the standalone. Okay? Standalone is like your desktop of Zotero, and Firefox lives in the cloud. So download that. It doesn't take long. I'll see if the computer lets me to do that here. Okay, so this is Chrome, I don't have Firefox. Let's see if I can do it. If not, I'll show you the webinar. Okay, so I likely won't be able to download Zotero on this computer just because it's protected. But what I will show you, on the Zotero quick sheet, I've listed also a Zotero webinar that has, it's an hour long, so what I did is I went through it and picked out the times that are going to be most important to you. Okay, so to download the Zotero Firefox, go to the webinar and go to 5 minutes to 7 minutes in the webinar, and that will tell you how to download it. Okay. And then to add articles from different databases, I'm going to show you how to do that for the most part, but that's in webinar 7 minutes to 9 minutes. Okay? And then to add books from the library catalog is in the other things that I listed here. But I want to show you how it creates a bibliography in a few seconds. Also, when you're writing your paper, you have to cite in two places. You have to cite within the body of your paper, so that's usually called an in-text citation or an endnote or footnote. In APA and MLA, they use something called in-text citation. So as you're writing your paper, you paraphrase or you directly quote something, within that sentence, at the end of the sentence, in brackets, you have to cite where that came from, where that sentence came from, or that idea, or number perhaps that you have. Okay? And at the end of your paper is where you have your reference list. So you're going to be citing twice. So Zotero helps you to do both. So let me just go to the Zotero webinar, and I want to show you how it creates the bibliography within a few seconds.
That climate change
and we're going to pretend here that we want to add in-text citations. So you might remember a while ago, one of the book that I pulled in was by author Rabe, and let's say I want to now generate an in-text citation. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to add-ins. And then what you need to do is click on the first icon, which is Zotero Insert Citation. So I'm going to do that now. And one thing I'm going to do is, I know I can search because I know the name of the author, and there it is. So what I do is I click on that. Now, obviously I don't want Rabe to appear twice. That isn't needed. So I'm going to have to suppress the author. And then hit enter, and then hit enter again, and I've got my in-text citation. Now, here I want to quote the article from The Guardian, but let's say I can't quite remember what it was called. I sort of know it when I'll see it type of thing, so I want to browse my Zotero library. So I click here on the first icon again, and instead of searching, I go to the classic view and I browse. And I go, oh yeah, okay, that was the article I wanted. You click on it, and you go, okay. And it brings in the in-text citation. And then what you want to do is add your references at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this icon, the third icon in, which is your Zotero Insert Bibliography option, and it will then pull in the two items for you. Now let's say after the fact you decided you wanted to actually change your bibliography to here it is, to a different style from APA. If you go to the second last icon where it has the doc preferences, you can opt to change your style then if it's something you want to do. So you could do that and it would change the style that you're using.
So that was just a demonstration. I'm sorry the screen might have been too small for somebody at the back. But it's a demonstration on how Zotero also works with Microsoft Word. And it'll add in an add-in tab in Microsoft Word to create in-text citations and your bibliography within seconds. So if you go back to the Zotero page, you'll notice that there's a download button, but also a plugin for Word. So you'll have to download that plugin as well. I don't know if Jane's computer would allow me to do that. Okay, so it won't work on this computer, unfortunately, but I will go through it with you when we get to finding books and articles, what it will look like in Zotero. So once you download Zotero for your browser and for Microsoft Word, I'll get to you in a second, it will create a little Z icon at the top right corner of your browser. It'll just be a Z. And when you click on that Z, it'll open up at the bottom of the browser a little insert box that'll show all your different articles and books that you've added. Okay, so it's kind of a browser application. Also within the URL box, there'll be a little icon here as well that will click on it. It'll add books that you find in your catalog and articles that you find. It'll also add videos on YouTube if you want to know how to cite that. It'll do that for you. It also cites websites as well. And there'll be a little icon here. What I've done, because I knew that this computer may not work, is that in the research guide, under finding resources, I've listed how that would look in Zotero. There's screenshots of how it would look. So, and the videos of Zotero will help you with that too. But I highly recommend you download Zotero and download the plugin. And it's quite intuitive to learn, and it's quite easy, and it'll work really quickly. And I'll show you as well the screenshots. You had a question up front?
Yeah, is there any significant benefit over, like, using Zotero over write-in site?
So that was RefWorks, right?
No, what I'm asking is there like a significant
So the question is, is there any benefit to Zotero over Write-in-Site? Write-in-Site is a tool from this program called RefWorks. RefWorks, unfortunately, is being phased out in the next year. So what I've been trying to do is learn other tools and to teach that, and Zotero is quite prolific in the scholarly world, so it does adapt to different databases and websites, more so than RefWorks, and it's easier to use than RefWorks. Okay, but yes, it's similar. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to find books and articles, and that'll hopefully clarify some of that information that you got from Zotero. And I'll show you the screenshots of how that looks. Okay. But definitely come to the Zotero page. Okay, so before we actually search for books, I mentioned that databases don't work like Google. You can't just type in a sentence and find an answer, unfortunately. So I just wanted to talk about search strategy, and I'll start with my topic. My topic is, I was reading about this robot called Amelia, and Amelia apparently might take over my job in the future because she's a humanoid robot, it's a service robot that could do library work, so shelf books, possibly answer simple questions, even teach classes about whatever. They have a robot in this library in Connecticut, and their robots are doing classes with the students or whatnot to teach them how to do Tai Chi. So the robots are quite sophisticated. So I wanted to learn more about artificial intelligence in libraries. If that was your topic, where's the first place that you would go? You can just blurt it out and no everybody's doing it. Google. Okay. Yeah, and that's the perfect place to start any topic. Because obviously you're not experts in every topic that your teacher gives to you. So you need to use Google. You need Wikipedia. You can't cite Wikipedia because there's so many different authors and the information not being credible, but you can definitely use Wikipedia and Google to figure out more about your topic and start identifying the keywords that represent your topic. Okay, so I'll go to my topic, artificial intelligence. And I found a couple of articles on, one of them, the Wall Street Journal, and also Wikipedia. So what I did was go to those pages and start identifying some keywords that represent my topic. So I didn't know artificial intelligence also was known as AI. Okay, so when I'm searching, I'm going to have to search artificial intelligence or AI. Okay. There may be other words that you might want to use as well. So just go through your Wikipedia pages and start picking out words that you might use for searching. Okay. The other topic I had was this article, and this is the one about the library in Connecticut, public libraries, so different than university libraries. They have 2 robots that they've adopted, and they're using them to teach coding and computer program skills as of now, but they're also teaching the robot, programming the robot to also teach Tai Chi and whatnot. I won't show the video because of time, but it's a kind of a cute video. So I also picked out other words from here as well, like robot. I think I picked up the word service robot from somewhere, or humanoid robot. I start writing down all these words that I find. And that's what that worksheet you have, that's what that keyword boxes that are listed there, that's where you can list your keywords and your synonyms. So that's what that handout is, and the boxes. Okay. Once you figure out your keywords and your synonyms, so on the right-hand side of the screen, you can start searching for books and articles. And like I was saying, you can't type in a sentence, or you can't just type in all your keywords in a row. It won't work that way. The databases use a certain logic to search, something called Boolean operators, kind of a math term, and it uses that logic to search. And there's 3 different Boolean operators that you should be familiar with, and I'll tell you how you use them to combine your keyword searching. So I'll go to Search Strategy tab and then click on Keyword Searching. Okay, so there's, like I said, there's 3 different keyword Boolean operators, and, or, and not. Okay, so when you're searching and you have 2 different concepts, the artificial intelligence and libraries. You separate, when you're typing that into a search bar in a database, you separate those words with the Boolean operator and, okay, in capitals, A and B in capitals. And that's used to narrow your search. And the idea is that it's looking for articles that have the word artificial intelligence and libraries in them. So it has to have both words in order for it to come up in your search results. So it narrows your results. So the more end word operators you use, or the more key concepts you use, the less results you're going to find. Okay. Or is used, oh, actually, I'll just show you a picture of what to visualize that information. So it's taking 2 different words that you find in a journal article. It's visual, and it's looking for both words in the article. So or is used to broaden your search, but it's actually used specifically with synonyms or words that mean the same or are spelled different ways. Okay, so when I mean synonyms, I mean artificial intelligence or AI. You want to make sure that the capturing articles that just use the term AI, and some articles use the term artificial intelligence. Some articles use both terminology. You want to make sure we capture all those articles. So it broadens your search, you'll get more results, but you're making sure that you're capturing all articles on artificial intelligence or AI. So that's the visualization up there. It'll find articles with artificial intelligence, it'll find articles with AI, and it finds articles that use both. The last one is not. There's other ones, but these are the 3 main ones. Not is used to narrow search. It's used to remove a term that keeps coming up that doesn't actually relate to your research. So for example, behavioralism, not humanism, right? And the last trick that you can use in your searching is something called truncation. And that's, if you look at, well, if you don't have to, that's fine, but if the Shift A on your keyboard, that's a little asterisk symbol, and that's used to find similar words with different endings. So for example, for plural, if you're looking for human or humans, you would take the root word of humans, or human, and it's up to the end, add the asterisk symbol, and the database will search human, humans. Okay, another example is educate. We also want to not rule out terms like education, educational, educator. So you take the root word or the root letters of that word, which is up to educat, add the asterisk symbol, and it'll search for all of them. So I'm going to demonstrate some of those in the database. There's some more information on the examples of main concepts and synonyms, which you can take a look on the right-hand side of that page. I'm going to continue on to finding a book. Okay? So I'm going to click on finding resources and then find a book, the top right side. Okay? So to start, to find a book, you want to go to the York Library homepage. I'll just go to the library page. And in the search bar, you can enter in some keywords. And so considering my topic, artificial intelligence and libraries, what are some keywords that I can use to search? Yeah. Anything else?
Robot.
Sure. So I'm just going to use that, and you notice I put an N between it, because those went 2 different concepts. And then just click find. Click the find button on the. Okay. From here, you can refine your results. If you get lost, so right here it says in the middle, we have 39 results. If you get hundreds of results, you can refine your results on the left-hand side. So I would pick Stacy Library for first, if you want to make sure it's a science book in your case. All those computer science engineering books are located in the Stacy Library. Okay, you can also format and pick book or ebook as well. You can use either one. Ebooks are just, they're the same as books, or just you read them online instead of in your hand. Okay. There's also conference proceedings. This is one way that you can find a conference proceeding is through your catalog. Okay, that's just one hint, but not necessary. And then from here you can pick a book. And you want to add it at this point to Zotero. Okay? To add it to Zotero, you'll have this little button here that looks a little icon in your URL bar, which it's not visible because I haven't downloaded the plugin for this computer. But it'll be a little book icon. If you click on that book icon, it'll list all the books on this page, and you select the one that you want to cite. And it'll add it to your Zotero folder. So let me just go back to the screenshot of how that looks so you can identify that when you download Zotero. Okay? So on, let's make this a little bit smaller. So this is an example of my search, and I did artificial intelligence and robots as my search. And I refined my results by Stacy Library, and I also clicked on book. And I also decided to sort it by, instead of relevance, which is the default, I sorted by newest first. Okay, and I believe I picked the second book for this topic. But what I did is in the URL of the screenshot, you can see the URL bar, there's a little folder icon. It might turn into a book icon or a video icon depending on what resources you're looking at. You click on that and it'll help you to add it into your Zotero folder for this assignment. Okay. And then when you want to view what's in your Zotero folder, you'll have a little Z mark in your browser in the top right. If you click that, it will open up at the bottom of the screen all your Zotero information, all your folders and articles that you add. Okay, let's search for a book now. So under Finding Resources, I'm going to click on the Finding an Article page. Okay, so I'm going to use a database called Engineering Village. So to find all the databases that you can use to find articles, I've listed them under Finding Resources databases. Okay, so these are different databases that you can use to choose to use to find any article, scholarly articles. So IEEE is quite popular. I decided, when I did my search, I actually found that IEEE was quite difficult for me to find on my topic. It may be really good for your topic though. So you may sometimes find that searching is not always linear. You always have to try different databases or different keywords. So I had to do that quite a lot. And so I decided to go with Appendix Engineering Village as an example, because I found some relevant results in that database. So you can access any of these databases from home. When you click on it, you'll be asked to enter in your York passport information. You log into the database, and most databases kind of look like this. They'll have these search bars, 3 different search bars. And if you go back to your handout, it's almost like those 3 boxes that you found, that you find on the handout. Okay. And if you don't see 3 search bars, look for something that's an advanced search. That will bring you to a place where you have 3 search bars, or you can add more search bars. There's usually add another search field. You can also remove a link field. In each search bar, you want to enter in one search concept. Okay? And you can see on the left-hand side, there's the Boolean operators and, or, and not. I usually leave these as and. I add all my synonyms on one line. So for example, I'll do artificial intelligence, or in capitals, my Boolean operator for synonyms, and then type in AI. Before I continue on with that search, I'm going to put quotation marks around artificial intelligence. That way, the search engine doesn't just find articles about intelligence or articles that are about artificial and whatnot. So we're searching for the 2 terms together. And then the other term I can use is, somebody mentioned robots. And I want to search robot or robots. So I'm going to do robot and add a truncation, which is that asterisk symbol. And I'll look up robots, robotics. It'll search all of those terms. I also wanted to talk about robots in libraries and how they're using robots, artificial intelligence, to automate some of the workflow processes. So I'm going to type in library. There's also the term libraries, librarian. So I want to add a truncation to this word as well. So I'm going to take the root letters, which is up to the second R, add a star or an asterisk symbol, and that'll look up library, librarians, libraries. I'm just going to click search. Okay. You can also refine your results on the left-hand side. You can refine by years. You can refine by document type. So I want to do journal article in this case. There's also conference proceedings, so it's refined too. In this case, I'm just doing journal article, and then click link to. And then you can also pick language and country, whatever you want. There's also controlled vocabulary to help search for topics as well. And you can just start going through that list and picking articles that are relevant to you. When I did my search, let me just go back to my example. I did service robot and library. So when I was doing my research in this database, these terms didn't quite bring exactly what I was looking for. So I had to go back a few steps and go back into Google and search more about my topic to see if there's other terms that I was missing. I didn't realize that I should have used humanoid robot, or they're also called service robots. I think that was in the article that I posted there, but those are some of the clues that I got. I had to go back and figure out, okay, I'm not getting the results I'm looking for. They're not just robots, they're service robots. So that's a term that I should be using. So you can also edit your search as well and fix that. When you do want to add articles, again, there will be an icon in the URL of the database that you can click. That'll grab the information it needs from the database, select the article you want to cite, and just check box it. It'll add to your Zotero file, which will then help you generate the bibliography. Okay, let me go to now search for conference proceedings. And this is a different database. And you can also use IEEE. This database is IEEE. So I'm just going to go back to my screenshots for Engineering Village, just so I can show you what I mean by the Zotero file. So in my screenshot, when I refine my results, you'll see in the top corner of the URL bar is an add item for Zotero, and that's a folder icon. If you click on the title article, it'll be an article icon. So just click on it and it'll help you upload that information to the site. Okay, so I wanted to go to conference proceedings, how to find a conference proceeding. Well, if you go back to the engineering database, Engineering Village, you can, like I said, you can refine your results by conference proceeding, but I want to demonstrate another database for you. So going back to the databases list, I'll click on IEEE Explore. So this one has only one search bar. So as I mentioned, it's preferable to search in advanced search, so you have more than one search bar. So I'll click on advanced search. And you have your different search bars. So again, we can type in our words. And I'll try service robot in this one. It may not work, it may or may not work, but it's all about trial and error and trying different ways of saying something to see what comes up. Okay, so I'll just try that. Oh, I want to type in library. And I'll add my truncation. Okay, so I only got one article. If you find that you only have one article and that's not enough for you, remove a search term, broaden your search. So I might go back and get rid of service robot, and which I just use the X on the right-hand side, and I'm just going to search artificial intelligence or AI and libraries. So the only thing with the term libraries is that sometimes they were using the term not as a physical space libraries, they were using it as like a library of code or whatnot. So we were talking about physical space, so I had to be careful. So you do have to go through the content. But the main idea that you need to take out of this is, again, refine your results on the left-hand side. Pick conference proceedings, refresh results. You can pick by year, so I'm going to change that to 2008 to 2015. You don't have to. And again, you want to add your article to Zotero. So if I were to pick an article, I'll just pick anyone for example purposes. I'll pick the third one. You'll get some information here that's really relevant to what you'll need to know to cite. So in the handout, there's also a bigger box with different tabs of information that you have to enter in. And so that a lot of that information is found on this page of the database. Okay? And to add to Zotero, again, it's the URL. I'll just go to the screenshot for that purposes. This is the top there. Any questions? I know it's class is more or less done. If you have any questions, please come down, but I highly recommend you download Zotero. You get more help at